Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Encounter Live radio show. Welcome back, me. Oh, goodness. It's a long story, but I missed the last radio show. Me and Kiki both were absent and unaccounted for, but I thank God for a good co host, Natalie Fikes, and a good DJ. Man, they held it down for us. DJ Lab and Natalie Fikes held it down for us, and I'm just so glad. And that will never happen again. No, because my car come on Tuesday. Won't it will? Yes, it will. I'm so glad about it. So, like, I'm going to do it live. You got to see when my car get delivered. They're going to deliver it and just unwrap it and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm just so, like, freaking excited. I'm so grateful for everybody in Uber services and everyone that has given me a ride thus far, but it is nothing like sitting on your own four wheels. And I believe that that's God's will for my life, and I'm going to make it to be so on Tuesday. He's already made a way. So I'm so excited about it. Thank you for tuning in with us. This is the Encounter Live radio show. On Misfits Radio. Hopefully, you downloaded the Live 365 app so that way you can tune in or you're logged on to misfitsradio.net. We got a live show for you today. I tagged you, DJ Lab, in the post. Um, they were doing this breakfast song.
Oh,
No
really?
more biscuits. You
I
didn't
didn't.
see it.
I didn't
We're
see
gonna have
it.
to watch it while you play
Okay.
it because that we must discuss
Okay. I didn't see
the
that.
contents of this video. It's deep. Hey Kiki, welcome back to the air. How you doing?
Good. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Yes, it's hey Omar, my cousin is watching. I'm sorry, I got all the way excited. My cousin is watching like y'all don't know. When I was like little, he's my big cousin. Like Omar made music and produced like all this kind of amazing stuff. He had this amazing, awesomely cool rap group, and I think they did like a project or whatever. You gotta send me some of your stuff. Like quiet as it's kept, my family was like an underground, like real secret, like hip hop. Like if they would have kept at it we would have been on it. But anyway, my cousin Omar is watching. Like, I'm so excited about that. Yeah, so we have an amazing show. We're gonna talk about cycles today. That thing has like been on me. I can't break it. Maybe I got a cycle in my life that I need broken or something because it's like been on me and like cycles. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some of this tomfoolery that we keep putting out in gospel music and wondering why ain't nobody supporting our projects because your project is a mess. That's why. Poorly produced, poor content. It's a mess, and the Saints ain't buying mess. So don't be mad when we buy Snoop record and we didn't buy yours because yours is a mess. And we honor the Lord for your life and your mess, and He loves you. We don't. And I'm sorry, we love you, just not your project. I can't. It's offensive to the ear gate, so I gotta cut it off. But anyway, I promised y'all last time we're not gonna do like it's a mix of talk and play. So I just wanted to come on and let y'all know what we'll be discussing today. We're gonna do church shout outs. So if you are a member of a ministry or if you're a pastor of a ministry and you want us to shout out your ministry while we're on air, Facebook us, type us, and then also like I guess DJ Lab is looking online. You just type us, let us know what ministry, what church, what denomination you're affiliated with. Shout outs to all of the members of Bedside Missionary Baptist Church who log on and watch us because you're not getting up out your bed. And we honor the Lord for your life and your ministry too. Stay tuned with us. We're going to play some music and we'll be back at with you with some hot topics.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says Yo, everybody come get your bounce on. Get your bounce on. Get your bounce on. Don't be cute with it. You gotta get, come on. Fifth ward. Fourth ward. Come on. Sing it.
When I close my eyes and think of you and reminisce on all the things you do, I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now. I know that it's real. It's a mystery for someone to give their life just for me.
Come on.
What you did on Calvary makes me wanna love you more.
Watch this.
I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day.
Come on, everybody clap like this. Clap like this.
I never thought that I would smile again. I never thought the dark clouds would end. I never thought that I could have a friend that'll keep me, that'll leave me alone. Jesus, you're my everything. The only one that makes my heart sing. Now I know what real means. It's everlasting, lasting. I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure
Because of you.
because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day.
Sing it with me one more time.
I never knew I could be so happy.
And there's a new sound.
I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day.
Listen to this, y'all. Listen.
Nothing can compare to the joy it brings and everlasting love there.
Jesus.
Jesus, my life will never be the same.
I found.
I found someone who truly
Come on and clap your hands, clap your, clap, come on, clap your hands, everybody, come on, and let me.
I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew
Come on,
I'd be so secure
because of your love, Jesus.
because of your love. Life has brand new meaning.
Here we go, here we go.
It's gonna be a brighter day, 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 brighter day
Woo! That was good. We was in here cracking up because right like they were they got to that vamp of the song, they started repeating the same thing. I'm like, my mama would be like, cut it. She can't stand songs that like repeat over and over and over and over and over again. Speaking of songs that repeat, it's actually a good song. But I used to sing in LA Inner City Mass Choir, and they had this song um, that Hezekiah Walker did. Won't he make you clean? I used to hate singing that song because that's all the song said. It's won't he make you clean inside. And back then I was younger, so I used to sing soprano because I used to be, I was. Tevin Campbell in the day I could get up there. So, you know, won't he make you clean? Like, you just said the same thing over and over again. Inside, won't he make you clean? Da-da-da-da. Inside. And like just 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. And that's the whole song. It's like, there's nothing. What are we doing in gospel music? Like, and I mean, no shade to Hezekiah Walker. Love the song. We play it all the time. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Like, no shade to them. We, love the song. It rock out churches. But I mean, after so long, I'm glad that I'm clean. I don't want to be clean no more inside. Let's sing another song. And then, we just do that repetitive thing. And then what's with all of the choruses now? Like, you don't have to work anymore in gospel music. It's like all you have to do is come up with a new way to sing "oh." If you say "oh, oh," like all of the choruses sound the same. Everything go into a "oh." Like where are the gospel writers? Like, is anybody going through things or experiencing things that make you actually put some lyrics together?
But I can't lie. Sometimes them O's take me out.
Now listen, the O's are great. I'm not knocking the O's. I'm just saying there was a time where we actually had lyrics to hold on to, words to hold on to. Because listen, I was counseling a young lady, and she was contemplating committing suicide. And nothing gets you through like a song. I'm sorry. Like, if you ever like find you have a bad breakup, there's a song associated with it. If you get happy, there's a song associated with it. Your marriage, there's a song associated with it. What you made your kids to, it's a song, I'm sure, a song and a drink for some of us associated with it. So like, music is associated to practically everything that we go along that we experience in life. So the girl was considering or contemplating committing suicide, and immediately a song like hit my spirit. So I taught her a hymn, and the hymn that I taught her, the chorus of it, or the part that I wanted her to remember, is "My life is worth the living because Jesus lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds my future, my life is worth the living just because he lives." And I mean, just singing her the song and reciting those lyrics, you could see her spirit lift up just a little bit. The lyrics did that for her. It wasn't the "oh." Like, I mean, it would be wonderful if she couldn't walk away singing "oh, oh," like she had to walk away holding on to something. And I just wanted to remind us that words mean something. So melody is wonderful, and sometimes all you can say is "oh," because I am of that generation where we didn't need no words. We would just get somewhere and moan out something. I am from that generation of travail and holler and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, nothing gets you through like good lyrics. So yeah, speaking of good lyrics, on my page, I posted a song where someone did a no more breakfast. Uh, the song was talking about being raptured up, being caught up in the rapture. And those of us that believe, we believe that one day Jesus is going to come back to get us, and we're going to be caught up to meet him in the air in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. First the dead in Christ will rise, then we that remain who believe shall be caught up and immediately translated. This is what we believe. These are the tenets of our faith, right? So the guy, I guess as he's reflecting on it, he's reflecting on all of the breakfast foods he's going to leave behind. So he says, no more biscuits, no more frosted flakes, no more oatmeal, no more cornflakes. I mean, the guy goes so far to say no more Wheaties. Like, it's on my Facebook page. No more Wheaties. Like, he goes on. I mean, and then he started doing ghetto breakfasts, pork chops, sugar and rice. Like, hey, Nick, like sugar and rice. Like, he's country ham. Like all of this crazy stuff that he's gonna leave for breakfast. And the hilarious part to me in the video is he's into it, like he's just getting it right. But I believe whoever his
Companion.
right, I don't even know how whoever his collabo artist with on the side, his background singer, he got one strong background. Oh Jesus, he got one strong background singer, and that one strong background singer look like she is held hostage, and she does not want to be there. She looks like if you just look at her expression and her rock look like no ma'am, no sir. Finish this song quickly. Got me on local live television. Okay, we gonna play it for you real quick so you can understand what we talking about. Hold on, it's finna play right now.
More bacon, no more sausage, no more orange juice,
No more
no
orange juice.
more coffee,
He meant it.
no more biscuits,
Oh,
no more light bread, no more bread,
did you
no
hear that run on
more
grits?
scrambled egg. One of these mornings, God is gonna call me home. I won't need no breakfast. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. I'll be
Listen,
gone.
that's what I want to
God is
hear.
gonna call
I
me
want to hear the lunch song. I want to hear the one more meal.
No more oatmeal.
Oh, he go in. He go in like he goes in like, and so I'm just I'm wondering. Firstly, who gave him the airtime? Hey, who did it? Who did it? Hey, how you doing? Who gave him the airtime? Like we put anything on television, on gospel rate, like on gospel television, and just call it great. Like, firstly, did he audition? Like, I want to know. Like, did he submit a tape? Did he submit a record? What did he do?
That's like who let that man on that was talking about Trump on the air doing
Oh,
addressing the
oh!
congregation.
Listen, I don't even talk about that because I am actually a minister of the gospel, licensed and ordained. But that's also I didn't even share that on my page because he goes in on Donald Trump now
And his mama.
and his mama who does this. But like for this particular song, where was it? Like also, I want to know who engineered the music. Who did it? Cause they were sitting in the studio like do 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 like who what bass player was in your back like this finna be some foolish I finna go viral. Are we so um cr- just desirous to go viral that we will produce it? No, it's crap, but we will produce anything because we know this crap is gonna hit. Like who did it? Um, and then I just want to. There ought to be a hotline number for people that are held hostage to people in ministries. Like, cause that woman looked like
For background vocals.
she looked like don't put the camera on. Take the camera off me. Take it off me now. Like, do it. Then church folk don't make it no better because if they sang it at a church, I know one old mother got up and did the old people scoop. Because the beat was right. The music was right for the old people to shout to. Because, now they play music too fast. When you done had two knee replacements and a and both them hips not yours, you can't shout to all that Ty Tribbett fast stuff. You need something to slow it down. And it had the right, just, they could scoot all around the altar on that song. I know one of them did. Because she was ready to be called home. And she missed her breakfast that morning. She didn't care that nobody else was going to get oatmeal, grits, bacon. She done had, she can't smell no more, so she can't taste no more neither. So pork chops don't mean nothing to her. She only got two good teeth left. What she going to do with a country steak? Is Sweet Jesus. All right, so yeah, that is my segment on what are we doing in gospel music. So yeah, I think we're gonna add that segment to the show. Kids be like, "What are those?" We're gonna be like, "What was that?" Like, what are we doing in gospel music? Like, let's think about it. All right. So we're gonna break and we're gonna play some more good music and stay tuned for our conversation on cycles because it's gonna get real. I got one more confession to make before we get into the deep stuff because once we go deep it's hard to come back, so yeah, but we're gonna play some more good music. Stay rocking with us. We thank you for tuning in to Misfits Radio on Live 365. This is the Encounter Radio Show and I'm Jonte and this is
Kiki.
and stay tuned in.
Oh God, once again, we come into your presence with expectancy in our hearts. God, we know you're going to bless us. So we lift our hands in the sanctuary and we give you glory and honor and praise. Come on, come on. We lift our hands in the sanctuary. We lift our hands to give you the glory. We lift our hands to give you the praise. And we will praise you for the rest of our days. Yes, yes. We will praise you for the rest of our days. We lift our hands. We lift our hands in the sanctuary. We lift our hands. We lift our hands.
Yes, you do have the victory in Jesus. We wanted to remind you of that all the time. You have the victory in Jesus, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. You absolutely do. So listen, one more thing I want to tell y'all silly before we jump into this thing. Before we got started, I had to clean up my little bag area because DJ Lab was like, "Your stuff is on camera. I don't think you won't be able to see that." Well, every if you know me, you know that everywhere I go, I look like I'm moving because I have to keep this backpack with me. And then the more devices I add to my life, the more stuff that's required for me to carry. Now, if you don't know, I'm the godfather slash uncle of the world. So you have to have things in your backpack for the children that accompany you, like diapers, like wipes,
Toys,
toys,
candy,
cookies, candy,
snacks,
um,
chargers.
band-aids, neosporin, halls. You got to have. I got a whole medicine cabinet right here in
Benadryl
this
for when they get
pouch.
too crazy.
Listen, like Benadryl, Tums, uh, Imodium, just in case, some things you gotta loose. Then you also need to, you gotta bind up. Then you also gotta have an X-lac just in case you need to loose it. You gotta be ready for all things. So I'm one of them saints that's ready. Just like that man said, no more biscuits. Just in case he lets you bring a stowaway bag with you to heaven, I got everything I need right here with me. So if you ever see that bag to the side, I got something. Then there's always something in here that'll keep you linked just in case you decide to try me and the Lord don't deliver. You get cut or shot and you be and it'll be all right. So listen, my bag is never too far away from me. So that's what that foolishness was about. If you were watching online, Facebook Live didn't see it because it's looking at my nose. It's not looking at the floor. But yeah, so I just needed to explain that there will always be a bag with me of some sort, of some kind, because you don't never know what you're gonna need. And we're gonna move on. But now let's talk a little bit about the subject matter. Man, time be flying on this good radio. Let's talk a little bit about the subject matter that we have all assembled everybody here for. And we're gonna talk about cycles. We're gonna talk about cycles today. Cycles are a part of life. Life goes through a cycle. The world goes through a cycle. We call it seasons. You have summer, winter, spring, fall. Each season serves a purpose. Each season it performs a specific duty in the world. If we lived in a perpetual summer, welcome drought. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we lived forever in summer and there was never any rainfall, never any time where it would consistently rain, hello, drought is getting ready to happen. Like, we're going to have another type of issue. If we lived in a time or space in our life where it's just always raining, welcome landslides, welcome mudslides, welcome all of that. It's getting ready to happen. Nothing can ever really grow if it's always flooded out. If we lived in a season where everything is springing up, you know what I mean? You'll never really have time to catch it. So that's the purpose of harvest. Harvest is a time where you catch what sprung up. If things are forever budding, but they never come to fullness, then you'll be always frustrated. If you always have things that are budding up, like you're starting a business, you're always starting something, but you never get it to fully bloom. That's the purpose of harvest. Harvest means that things come into full bloom. Then you hit winter. Winter is very important. I know the saints don't like winter. The world don't like winter, but it's very important because everything that dies in the fall, if it endures the winter, will be reborn in the spring. That's a Selah moment right there. Like, everything that dies in the fall, if it endures the winter, it will be reborn in the spring. You got to thank God for a winter season because
Get rid of some stuff.
Because it gets rid of some, it gets rid of a lot of things. Winter will kill some stuff that should have never grown up and been in your life. Like, so we're going to talk about cycles and how, go ahead.
No, I said that was good.
Yeah, winter serves a very important purpose. Like it cuts some stuff, and you lose people in winter. Like you do, you lose friends in winter. Relationships kind of break off in winter. It cuts some stuff out of your life that should not have ever been there. If it endures the winter, it will be reborn in the spring. So I'm just trying to help somebody understand how cycles work. Cycles are natural. They're normal. But then we also have some abnormal cycles, some not so good things that we have introduced into our lives, that other people have introduced into our lives. So we're going to talk about cycles. If you can identify, if you can, like, kind of, wave at us, do something to let us know that we're on it a little bit. We're going to talk about how to recognize cycles. We're going to talk about how to identify cycles and the purpose that they serve in your life. Like I did a quick run through, but we're going to talk about the purpose that they serve in your life. And then we're also going to talk about how to recognize unhealthy cycles and break them out of your life and break them off of your life, break those patterns off of your life. All right. So we're going to play a little bit more music, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have a real good conversation about some cycles and what we need to do something different. Yes.
All right. Ooh, yeah. Well, oh yeah.
Hold on.
Here we go, y'all. Sing a little message out to those of y'all who feel like you're struggling. Yeah. It's a simple song. Yesterday, a man stepped to me, said, how can you smile when your world is crumbling down? I said, here's my secret. When I wanna cry, I take a look around and I see that I'm getting by, and I hold on
last year. Tell me what I missed, 'cause I fear that it's coming back up again. Must be something I ate, some song, some show, some hate. The devil wants to extend the game, free throws, and when it ends he wants to make the sequel. 'Cause if he has another chance, he feels like he can take my joy, my peace, my faith. See, the devil, he learns from your mistakes, even if you don't. That's how he keeps you in cycles. 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 But I'm not going in cycles. Cycles. This will end like I wanted to. I win. The enemy will have to lose again. See, I'm a different fighter now, and I have got to thank, 'cause his joy is my strength. See, the devil will learn it's a mistake when I am sure that I'm not going in cycles. I'm not going in cycles. I'm gonna break these. I'm not going cycles. I'm gonna break these cycles. I'm not going cycles. Cycles. I'm not going in. Oh, so Lord, help me be free from all of my passion. See, your love is enough to make me new and help me in these cycles. 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 Help me in these cycles. Oh, Lord, cycles. I need you to help me in these cycles. I rebuke him in the name of Jesus. Oh, cycles. Yeah. Cycles. See, I'm not going in cycles. I refuse it. Cycles. I refuse it. Cycles. Refuse it. Cycles. Depression. Cycles. I'm seeing cycles. I'm not going in cycles. Cycles. Yeah. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. See, there is power in the name of Jesus to break every cycle, to break every cycle. Yeah, yeah. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. Come on, say, there is power in the name of Jesus. Yeah, to break every cycle, to break all these cycles, to break all these cycles, to break all these cycles, generational cycles, financial cycles, cycles.
can't do it. But that song like sums up so many of our existences. Like we find ourselves stuck in cycles that we have either we have not recognized or we have not been um, uh, discerning enough to realize that this thing is happening again and again and again and again, and it's like a never ending. It's like the song that never ends. Y'all remember that, Lamb Chop fans? Yes, it goes on and on. My for like our lives are stuck in that place. Um, and not a good way. So before we were talking about how cycles are a part of life, seasons are a part of life. But the trick of the enemy is to teach you to form habits to mishandle yourself in each season. So that way you'll miss the benefit of the season. That was good. Anybody like that? That was good. The trick of the enemy is to make you learn unhealthy habits so you mishandle each season. So the trick of him is when I'm in harvest time, the trick of the enemy is to teach you how to be lazy and waste your time or procrastinate. So now the season of harvest is coming up, and you got all of this corn, all of this wheat, all of this stuff that is in full bloom that you can't even begin to reap because you've wasted your time. The trick of the enemy is if I teach you or if you mishandle harvest, then you're not prepared for winter. You don't have nothing stored up. You're not going to survive the winter. Winter becomes harder than what it already is because I've mishandled my harvest. If you come on, Kiki,
Oh.
jump over there because I'll go.
You can change one thing in an already existing cycle, and it'll change the entire cycle. So you'll find yourself, I'm doing well, I'm in this cycle, and I change one thing, and now it kind of feels the same. I'm seeing the same things, but now I'm in a cycle that's not healthy for me, and I'm trying to figure out where did it.
What happened? Where did it go off? What makes the difference? So let me read this scripture for us so that way we can understand that cycles are normal. It's what you do in the cycles that can make the difference. Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8. And you really just could like read the whole chapter in your leisure. Like just kind of like read that whole thing. It'll mess you up. It'll help you real good. It says this: for everything there is a season, a right time for every intention under heaven. There's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal. What? The Bible said it's a time to kill? Yes, kill it. A time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. There's a time and a place for every purpose under heaven. And what we have to realize, or what we have to learn to not do, is to do the wrong thing in the wrong time, or do the right thing in the wrong time. A lot of us are trying to plant when you should be reaping. A lot of us are trying to kill when you should be healing. And so the trick of cycles is learning what to do in each cycle.
What phase you should be in.
What phase you should be in. And because we as people, we as believers, and we just as humanity, we don't take time to stop and have introspective moments where we look inside ourselves and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, where am I? Hey, what season of life am I in? Then we miss our cycles. We miss our seasons. Ain't nothing funnier to me than when you see an old man in like clothes that just are just like, sir, you are a card carrying AARP member
With the skinny jeans on.
with skinny jeans on, sagging, skinny jeans on, a baseball hat turned to the side, 16 chains, and a wife beater with dilapidated muscles. Sir, if you don't pull all them benches together and sit down and embrace the season of life that you're in, ain't nothing worse than seeing a seasoned woman, because women don't like to be called old.
You
But ain't
old.
nothing but you is old, ma'am. You old. Let's start there. Embrace it. You old. You ain't 15 no more. Let the hot pants go, grandma. All right? Like let's you having hot flashes in these hot pans and you getting hot with everybody and it's just not working. Like let's embrace the season that we're in. And see what you're seeing when you watch that psychologically is someone who has missed their youth, and now at the wrong time you're trying to live it. You ever see somebody like making all kind of stupid decisions, like you doing stuff you should have did at 16, at 45. 16 is gone. Like embrace the season of life that you're in. But because we mishandle seasons, we cause ourselves to live in cycles of catch up or cycles of replay. We start trying to hit the replay button on your life. There is no rewind. There is no replay button. You have to keep going forward. And because we mishandled the season of our youth, we try to live it out in our golden years, and it just cannot be done. The latter years are supposed to be greater than your former, but they're not the latter years. Come on, somebody. They're not the latter years. Amen. Lights. They're supposed to be greater, but you're not 15. You're not 16. You're not 21. How are you at 45 having baby mamas all over the church? That foolishness you should have done in your youth. Come on.
No, just don't do that at all.
Just don't do it at all. But if there was ever a time, then there are
You
some
should know better by now.
by now. Come on. Cycles. We're stuck in cycles. We're stuck in places that we should not be. Oftentimes because we don't know how to recognize seasons. So what season of life are you in? You can always tell by what's going on. What's going on in your life? Are you given a lot of new opportunities? Are you faced with a lot of new challenges, new job, new environment, new house, new people? That's called spring. Hello, new. Everything is new. You're seeing new patterns. Let's be clear about this. Every season comes with its challenges. It's difficult getting to know new people. I'm a person that I don't like. I'm with Drake. No new friends. Like no new friends. I don't like new. I'm struggling with new with social media. It's not normal. Not. I was never one of those people that would sit on the phone all day and talk. I wasn't one of them. Like one of them kids that would just sit on the phone and just run up their mama phone bill. That wasn't me. I'll see you at school tomorrow. Like I'ma see you. So why am I sitting on the phone talking with some imaginary person that I don't see? Like you're not here, you're not real. Like I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk at nutrition. We'll talk in math class. We'll cut up like we normally cut up. This is new for me. So this is a spring season of my life. The Encounter Live radio show. This is a spring season of my life. I have to learn how to handle it. So it comes with its challenges. The challenges is I have to embrace a new world, new platforms, new people that I do not know. It's uncomfortable for me. I like winter because you stay in your cave and you eat your food and you get fat. You put on weight. That's what I like. But spring presents challenges for me that I'm not comfortable with. So every season comes with its challenges. So there are people that like spring comes with the sporing. All that newness creates allergies. Come on, all of us that are Allegra Claritin. It creates all of that new budding, creates a whole bunch of stuff in the atmosphere that you might not necessarily should be breathing in. You can't breathe right. You can't, it look like you want to go outside and run, but you get outside and you're wheezing from your porch to the mailbox because you can't breathe, because all this newness is like clutting up the atmosphere. It comes with its challenges. Every season does. So we can celebrate and shout all day long for spring, but beware that spring comes with challenges. So does harvest. So does winter. Come on, every season. So as we embrace our cycles and as we recognize our seasons, how do I know that I'm in a winter? Stuff is kind of just dead, dying off, like it get cold. Hey, this is a good word for somebody. Don't kill it just because it's cold.
Say it again.
Don't kill it just because it's cold. That's a good word for somebody. Don't kill your marriage just because it's cold. It's in a winter. Don't kill your business just because it's cold. Don't kill your ministry just because it's cold. It's called winter. It's supposed to be cold. Duh, it ain't summer. Like, come on. God uses practical things to teach us all day long. If we keep reading in Ecclesiastes, it tells us that God uses the world to teach us. Don't kill it just because it's cold. Let it rest. Plants go underground and they rest in winter. They reboot. Bears hibernate for winter. They go reboot. Don't kill it just because it's cold. So many of us have killed things in the winters of our life that would have come back to full bloom, but just because it wasn't hot like summer and popping like spring and blooming like fall, we killed it.
Mm-hmm.
So have you established a cycle in your life where every time things get cold, you start killing it? And then we start blaming people that they didn't last the winter. No, you killed it. And you started a cycle of mismanaging winters. And every time something gets cold on you, you cut it off. Wait a minute. Time out. That's you. That's not them. That's you.
You have to give everything room for growth and change and evolution.
Yes. Everything. You have to give it the room. How do we mismanage that season? When people don't call you as much as they were calling you before, you delete them and block them. Wait a minute. When the relationship was new and I was establishing a relationship with you, I needed to talk to you every 3 hours on the third hour. But if you don't know me by now, come on. Sometimes the people in the world did it better. They said it better. If you don't know that I love you by now, and after 3 years, every 3 hours, you still need to be reminded that I love you, then there's something wrong with you. It ain't nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you. What's wrong with your esteem? What's wrong with your own self-validation that you need to be reminded? So the moment somebody stopped blinging your hotline the way they used to, you cut that individual off. No. You're mismanaging your season. It might be in a winter where you don't need to be as connected as you were before. You can lose yourself in connection. Did you know that? I'm a person that I can get so wrapped up in a relationship that I'll lose myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I must need go away.
And a part of recognizing, sometimes we look up and it's winter, but had we paid attention and did the evaluation, we would have noticed when we were in the fall, preceding the winter that's coming.
I'm dead. Like, that made me weak. That's so good. Like, we don't learn how to recognize when it's time to pull away. So a lot of times for us, the switch of season is so abrupt because we don't watch the shift. We don't pay attention that in the summer, the days get long, but then there's a time where the days start getting short and nights start creeping back in early. We don't pay attention. Mm-hmm. We just feel like day is just supposed to stay long. No. And the days don't automatically get long. You get a couple of more minutes of daylight every night. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, we don't pay attention. So if we pay attention and we stop mismanaging, we stop mishandling our seasons, and introducing bad behaviors, creating inappropriate, bad cycles in the right season, then maybe, just maybe we would see some change in our lives. Listen, I'm a preacher, so I can talk all day. We're going to stop and we're going to play some music. Hit some likes, hit some love apps, do something for me, because we're talking about cycles and we're talking about seasons and how to manage them and how to mismanage them and how to recognize them. You are tuned in to Misfits Radio, and this is the Encounter Live Radio Show on Live 365 with John Tate Carlisle and
Kiki.
and DJ Lab in the booth. All right, so let's listen to some good music, and we'll be back discussing cycles.
I thought that I could make it. Thought I was doing just fine. But when my heart was breaking, you were there just in time. I never knew that I could feel this way. Oh, what a change your love has made. You bring out the best in me, always. I thank you.
All right, we coming on back talking about cycles, talking about how to recognize seasons and cycles. We kind of discussed that earlier. Um, how we kind of start unhealthy habits. This is what I want to say to us, those of us that are find ourselves repetitively in situations, repetitively in the same place with different people every time. At around this time this last year, I was in this place doing this thing with somebody else. It's always the same action, it's just a different face. That's a cycle. Um,
Different face, different place.
but same thing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I took an oceanography class. I know I'm weird. I'm going to tell you how weird. I didn't go to high school traditionally. I went to 1 year of high school. Then I kind of that didn't work for me. So I left high school and I did homeschool and I did dual studies. So I was a high school student that went to college. So I never really went to high school class anymore. I just went to college. Um, and I took oceanography because biology wasn't my thing. They started doing the periodic table and all that kind of stuff, and I freaked out and wigged out. But the beautiful thing about college was they gave you options. So I took a oceanography class, and the one thing that I remembered about from that class is how waves move in a cycle. And the part that blew my mind was water don't move. Water does not move. That wave, that's not new water coming to the shore. That's the same water. It's currents under the ocean and it's moving in a circle and that same water is churning over and over and over and over. And as it gets closer to the shoreline and the earth gets closer, the water is just hitting and it makes the water come up, but it's not actually moving. It's the same water going around and around and around. Even if you get caught in a current, it's the same water flowing in that current going around and around. And your life can kind of depict you're stuck in a churning current that just is not moving. What you have to pay attention to if you're in that place is what part are you playing? What am I doing that is allowing this cycle to continue? Now, I would not be a church kid if I did not point out that this is First Sunday. And on First Sunday, we honor the death, the life, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I just got to plug this right here. The blood broke the cycle. And I don't have the organ in the back, but I hear it in my mind. I heard that Hammond B3 tone up real good. The blood broke the cycle. But what we have to understand is although the blood broke the cycle, you press the replay. So what we have to realize, what we have to ask ourselves is what do I do? What part do I play that allows this cycle to keep churning over in my life? Is it somebody that I'm not forgiving? Have you ever noticed that we kind of treat people the same if they remind you of somebody else? That's a cycle. Big Daddy dead and gone, but because somebody got Big Daddy knows, you continue the cycle. Big Daddy started in your life. You won't let it die. He's rotted in his grave. Body has completely decomposed. But because you will not let go of the cycle that Big Daddy started, he didn't even start it. You didn't start it. He started it. But because you won't let it go. Now, everybody that looked like Big Daddy, here you go. You press the replay. Here you go. And it doesn't, somebody can remind you of your ex, but they're not your ex. And you begin to handle them like you handled your ex. Quiet as it's kept, it
Blocked.
take two to make a relationship fall apart. So everything your ex did, that person ain't responsible for. But now you start treating them the way you treated that person, and then now the relationship is going sour. You can't hold them accountable for Bebe and Pookie and Ray Ray and Charles. Come on. Chris, Chuck and every other, you can't do it. You have to hold yourself accountable for the cycles and the things that we do that allow things to replay in our lives.
You know what I just thought about?
Hmm.
Um, I had reached a point where I felt like a plateau,
Hmm.
which basically you're stuck.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you know what I just thought?
Uh-huh.
That might have been sometimes when we feel like we're stuck
Hmm.
or, we can't keep going. I realized that that was the point where I press pause or stop on my cycle.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Y'all don't know I run. I'm one of them. I
So
will run
sometimes,
on you. Like,
so sometimes when you and it might not necessarily even be God. Sometimes life will bring you to a point where you just press stop or you press pause
whew, that's good. I had to hold myself to
so
keep
that
from
you can
hollering.
so that you can change, the pieces around and rearrange some stuff so that the next time that you press play, you're starting something and playing on something else.
Listen, I had to hold myself to keep from hollering all in this mic, because I will holler. Good old school holler. But that is so true. We are oftentimes food to believe, made to believe that everything has to keep moving. No, no, no. You do have to sometimes hit a stop, a pause button in order to effectively break
Mhm.
negative cycles and to cut negative people out of your life. And sometimes that means you have to get quiet. That means you have to pull away.
Mhm.
That means you have to get by yourself. I'm going to say something that, this new generation is going to scare the hell out of them. But I hope it literally scares the hell out of you for real. Sometimes you have to kind of get off of social media for a little bit and not be plugged into what everybody is saying. Sometimes you have to separate yourself. Listen, when I got saved for real, and I was determined that I was going to break a cycle off of my life, I got ghost on my friends. Like, I went straight up ghost. I would go to class, I would leave class, I would get my car, I would drive straight home. And that would be not like me, because I love to hang out. I'm from Los Angeles. So we didn't do clubs, we do kickbacks. I love a good I will and I like to kick it. So I will kick it wherever my homies was kicking it. That's where I was. Whether it was and then my house was the spot, because I had a pool with a water slide and a pool table downstairs. Like we were it. I had to shut it down, because although I was living on the outside and it appeared like everything was going okay for me on the outside, I was dying on the inside and didn't nobody see it.
Mhm.
It looked like let's talk about false seasons. It looked like I was in spring, but on the inside I was experiencing a winter.
Mhm.
If I would have killed myself in that season of my life, wouldn't nobody have understood it? Nobody would have known why. But I knew that on the outside, I'm laughing so loud because I don't want nobody to hear that I'm crying on the
Crying.
inside.
Mhm.
Amen. Lights. Like, I'm partying so hard so that way don't nobody have to see that I'm lonely. I want all of these people around me so that way I don't have to embrace this season of loneliness. If I just be all the way real, the season before that, I buried my father. So before I got saved for real, I buried my father. And because the way my family and black people in general, we deal with grief, we don't deal with it. That's how we deal with grief. We don't. And we just keep on moving like nothing happened. I had started a cycle in my life that I refused to acknowledge. And because I did not handle the season right, the season was over. This is 2 years later. You're not supposed to still be crying about that. How you breaking down now that my daddy dead? He been dead for 5 years. But because I did not grieve in the appropriate season and time, it sprung up in my life. And people was like, what is wrong with you? And so what it causes me to do is it caused me to live a secret life. I started secret cycles to deal with an issue that I did not deal with in the right season. So I'm sleeping around secretly to deal with my loneliness. I was hoeing around, like literally, like leaving choir rehearsal, hopping in the bed, like leaving Bible study, hopping in the car, leaving. Y'all don't want to have no real talk. I got on Misfits Radio.
Keep going.
I got on Misfits Radio on purpose.
Because we're misfits.
Yeah, because I would not fit anywhere else.
Listen, I go to Publix, and it's just something about they sugar cookies.
Listen.
I sat down. I went in my room. I said, Mama, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it was about noon.
Uh-huh.
I closed the door, and all 24 of them sugar cookies was gone. Within 2 hours.
Yes.
And I was just so happy. 2 days later, I went back and got another 24. And shortly after that, I opened my gym membership.
Yeah, because it's how are we handling ourselves inside. So I slept my way. Kiki ate her way. Listen, and then let's talk about false deliverance. Because some of us don't really break cycles. We just wean ourselves onto another drug. Okay, let's talk about it. So what I had to be conscious of was just because I stopped hoeing around, I had to realize I started eating. So chicken replaced sex. Okay.
And you're still grieving.
And I was still grieving. Come on, some of us just realize that how we're managing our issue is bad. But we still haven't stopped to actually deal with the issue itself, which caused the cycle.
So we do just change management.
We just changed management company. That's all we did.
That's all we do.
Somebody online said, not the sugar cookies. Yes,
Yeah.
Sugar cookies. Listen, come on. So for some of us, what is it? Is it men? Is it relationships? Is it women? Is it money? Some of us bury ourselves in success. You climbing up. Why are you so cutthroat about a promotion? The promotion really don't matter to you that much. It's not that serious. Why are you so cutthroat about your boss knowing? Why are you such a brown noser? Is your boss
telling
your mama?
everything.
Oh, come on, somebody. Is your boss your mama? And because mama didn't approve of you, you get your validation from your approval of your boss. Let's break a cycle. And let's learn to validate yourself. Let's talk about cycles. Let's talk about a woman that entered into a season of horrible cycles in the Bible. Hello, Leah. Leah married Jacob by force because her daddy did not want her. Leah was an ugly sister of a pretty sister. She was the oldest sister, but she was the ugly sister. And her daddy didn't want her. And he knew that he could not marry her off because she was the ugly sister. Who wanted cross-eyed Leah? Leah was what they call in New York a butterface. Everything was beautiful on her but her face. Come on. So Leah had it all going on, but if you looked at Leah in the face, you didn't want her. Her daddy knew it and couldn't send her off. So Laban forced Leah onto Jacob in a tricky way. So on the wedding night, Jacob thought he married Rachel, went into Leah. Now watch this. The first time Leah ever feels love, Leah feels the love that Jacob has for Rachel, not her. And she starts a cycle in her life trying to recatch that feeling. Because in the morning, when Jacob realized what had happened, and the legs he was rubbing on was Leah's, not Rachel's. The waist he was holding was Leah, not Rachel. It got to say something about it, because for me to be able to fool you to the degree whereby my body made you think of Rachel, it was because you could not see my face that I tricked you. So it has to say that Leah had it going on physically. But it was not the first time this woman feels love. She feels the love that a man has for her sister, not for her. So she starts this cycle in her life where she bears child after child for this man, trying to recatch this feeling. Then she starts fighting with her sister. She started fighting with her sister because after 7 years, then Rachel married Jacob too. Now we got 2 women and a cycle with this man. Now, the interesting thing about the cycle is Leah is fruitful. Rachel can't have kids. So what is Leah hoarding over Rachel? Yeah, he may want you, but I got his babies. Not only do I have his babies, I have his sons. His name is continued because of me. So he may love you, that's cute. But where his boys at? Over here. Where he's sending the bread at? Over here. Come on, let's bring this modern day. How many women are stuck in a system where a woman is lording over you? She got control of your man by his kids, by his sons. Because it's one thing to have a daughter. It's another thing to have sons. A father, a real father, is going to make sure his sons have his impression. You're going to look like me. You're going to talk like me. You're going to walk like me. You're going to dress like me. They are going to press their image on their sons. A real father. Now, if you got one of them, I can't say the word. I can't say the word. But if you got one of them female dog made men, and that's what you lay with, say it.
Bitch ass nigga.
Yeah, if you got one of them, then they don't care. Nevertheless, all they cared about was getting their rocks off. But if you laid with a real man,
Stony.
if you lay with a real man, come on, if you bore him sons, he is going to take care of his sons. Watch this. Jacob did right by Leah because she had children. But when Rachel got pregnant, the game changed. When Rachel got pregnant, the game changed. Because a man may do right by a woman that has his children, but it's always going to be different than the woman whom he loves. It's a big difference. Ask any man that got a baby mama, that got more than one baby mama. There's a difference in my baby mother and the children by the woman I love. Watch this. The relationship cannot work between the woman I love, but because I love her, there's going to be a difference in the way he raises his children. Cycle continues, second generation. Leah's daddy issues played out with her and her sister. Then they played out amongst their children, because when Rachel had a son named Joseph, then now it's another generation of issues. Judah said, wait a minute. I bring in the hay. I take care of the sheep. I run your house, daddy. You ain't never made a coat for me. You ain't never done nothing for me. How dare you, a man, sit down at a loom, at a sewing machine, modern day, and begin to sew a coat? Surely you made this coat for me. Joseph ain't lifting nothing. Joseph ain't moving nothing. Joseph ain't. And so then the cycle continues in another generation. Now, Judah and Joseph are at war. Come on, read your Bible. It's a good book. I can't break it down because we ain't got enough time. Come on, read your Bible. It's a real good book. Judah and Joseph go into a silent war, just like Leah and Rachel were in a silent war. Didn't nobody know what was going on, but they were silently at war. And so here's the funny thing. You can be at war with people and they not even know that you're at war with them. Watch this. When the boys put Joseph in the pit and they go to get him out, Joseph says, I knew Judah wouldn't leave me in here, only to watch Judah sell him off. Jacob didn't even realize, he was ignorant, that he was in a cycle that had not, the cycle stemmed from Leah being forced by her father, who didn't want her, on a man that didn't love her. And she spent her life trying to recapture that love. How does Leah redeem herself? I gotta redeem Leah, because we gotta close real quick. I gotta redeem Leah before we play more music. How does Leah redeem herself? When Leah had Judah, Leah said, you know what, I'm tired. All of Leah's children were named behind her trying to get Jacob's attention. That's what so all of her children, surely the Lord has favored me. All of her children are named. My husband will consider me now. All of her children were named because she was trying to get her husbands who didn't want her or love her attention. When Leah had Judah, Leah decided. I almost hollered on myself. Leah decided that she was going to break that cycle. And she said, you know what? I've had all of these babies. Come on. I've given up my body. I've changed my appearance. I've been in travail and have endured more pain. I done had sex I didn't even like. Come on, because when you're doing it for somebody else and not for you, it's about pleasing them. It's not about you being pleased. So I done been in positions I didn't even want to be in.
Because I would have been done at the baby.
Listen, Leah has Judah, and she says, you know what? I give up the game. I'm going to pat myself on the back and say, if my husband don't recognize me, I'm a good girl. And on this one, I'm going to praise the Lord. Leah broke the cycle with Judah. And so for some of us, you have to realize the part that you play. Leah stopped playing the game. Leah said, Rachel, have all the babies you want. This shop is closed. Leah said, y'all, all of the other girls can fight over Jacob. My days of fighting over Jacob are done. And how did Leah break the cycle? She stopped playing the game. She stopped fighting for the validation and the approval of a man she realized she could never get. And she realized she didn't even want. What she was wanting from Jacob, her daddy should have gave her, and he couldn't. We're talking about cycles right here on Misfits Radio. This is the Encounter Live radio show. Listen, we will have some good old conversation. I thank God for DJ Lab being in the booth, because he can say something I can't say. Because you know the saints they'll turn on me real quick. They were like, you just gonna say that? Well, listen, so glad. And Kiki be here with us. We're gonna play some more music. And hey, if they interrupt this good broadcast, then I'm sorry, but music is a part of my life, and we honor the Lord. All right, so we love y'all. Stay tuned. We're going to wrap up this conversation when we come back, and we're going to tell you how to stay connected with us on a personal level. All right?
How y'all doing today? The Savior lives. The Savior lives. It's time to celebrate the Savior and His Word. Let's shout because we Savior down from off that rugged cross. They laid him in a tomb. It seemed all hope was truly lost. But the third day came along and brought the rhythm of life. The stone rolled away, an angel proudly proclaimed, He lives, Christ is risen, just like He said. Our Lord and Savior's no longer dead. Hey, rejoice and celebrate. Hey, everybody lift your hands if you know Jesus is worthy. Open up and give Him praise. Let's do it in a hurry. If you love Him, let's glorify Your song and in the dance. Hey, we know the Savior lives. Lift up your hands. Lift your hands if you know that Jesus is worthy, worthy. Open up and give Him praise. Let's do it in a hurry. If you love Him, let's glorify the song and in the dance. We know the Savior lives. Come on and lift up your hands. He lives, He lives. Christ is risen, just like He said. The Lord and Savior's no longer dead. Come on and celebrate. He lives. Ah, say He lives. He lives. The Savior's risen, just like He said. Christ the Lord and Savior no longer dead. And celebrate. He lives and know that He lives. He lives. Christ is risen, just like He said. The Lord and Savior is no longer dead. Rejoice and celebrate. He lives. He's alive.
Listen, Jesus is alive, and that is the reason why you are able to break every cycle, every negative cycle off of your life, negative behaviors, all of that good stuff. Well, it's not good stuff, but it's good that you're able to get out of it. Like I said before, I would not be a good and proper church kid if I did not recognize that today is First Sunday. And on this Sunday that we celebrate the death, the life first. I'm sorry, because we talk about He died, but I think we missed the part that He lived. Like that's a game changer. God cared so much about you that He came and lived just like you to see what it would be like to be you. That before He died, He didn't have to die for me. He lived. He put on my shoes and walked a mile in my shoes. For me, that speaks volumes. That's why I serve Him, because He lived. Now, then on top of the fact that He lived, He died. See, the church kid in me just had a fit, like I just had a good old Baptist fit. On top of He lived, He died. And His blood broke the cycle. It is the first thing that you need to break any negative cycle off of your life. It can be broken. He already broke it. It's already done. He already paid the price. It's already done. Like, it's done. What's the problem? The problem is, in Proverbs, it talks about being a dog that returns to its vomit. That, dogs are so greedy. They're so greedy that they'll vomit something up because it made them sick. But they'll go back and eat it because I want it. It was mine, I ate it, and I want it. Nelson and I were talking on Facebook. For those of us that are not on Facebook Live and you're not streaming through my Facebook page, Nelson made a very good, solid point, and I'm not taking anything away from his point at all. I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. His point was so solid. You got to cut negative people out of your life because they bring cycles with them. Yes, they do. Just like Laban, who was a negative person, started the cycle in Leah's life. Laban left Leah's life, but Leah kept the cycle going. You see that? You see that? Jacob, who was also a part of that cycle, and Leah's affection for Jacob and her desire for Jacob kept that cycle going in her life. Watch this. Leah stopped, but her children kept that cycle going. So it's not just the persons, it's the behaviors. And this also goes to identifying and calling it out. I believe this transcends culture, but I know for a fact, especially in our African American culture, we don't talk about nothing. We don't tell you why. We don't tell you nothing. You have to verbally expose some stuff.
Yep.
Come on, we can talk about all day long why so-and-so is promiscuous, but we don't talk about Uncle Chester that was a molester. We don't talk about that. We just talk about so-and-so has 16 kids by 16 different men. But you don't talk about the fact that she is stuck in a cycle that your no good uncle put her in. And because we don't give her the freedom to speak, we force her to silently deal with and live in a cycle she can't break. Let me tell you something. I know a man. Okay, let me bag away from that point just a little bit and reapproach it. Let me tell you something. I know somebody that if you can't tell auntie, if you can't tell uncle, if you can't tell cousin, I know somebody that loves you so much that when you cry in your pillow late at night, he bottles the tears. I know somebody that loves you so much that you can tell him all your secrets and he'll never tell another. So I know somebody that loves you. Let me tell you about how he loved me. He loves me so much that when I went to him weary, wounded, and sad, like literally broken, like I know somebody that loves you that much that you can tell him about what you can't tell nobody else. And I guarantee you, he will help you begin to put the pieces of your life together. Jesus helped me break cycles that I couldn't talk about because in my family we can't talk about because some of the folk ain't dead yet.
And can I help?
Help, please help.
Sometimes comfortability and familiarity keep us in a place. I don't know what it's going to be like without it. And this is all I know.
Yes. You have to be willing to walk away from the unknown. If you're really tired of something, you have to be willing to walk into the unknown. Walk away from what you don't know. Here, you want to know why so many people stay in bad relationships? Because they're afraid of being alone. You're so afraid of being single that you'll stay with somebody no good that she use you up. Every bill she got. Why she only see you on the 1st and the 15th? Because there's some other things that why stuff only good on the 1st and the 15th? Go ahead.
And it is good to, like he said, talk about it. Because I came to Jay one day and I was saying, I just don't know why. And I was crying. And Jonte said, he don't care about you. I said, what you mean he don't care? And Jay just started going down the list of stuff. And I got mad. I said, why you ain't tell me sooner? Because I sure would have. So just talking it out with people. And sometimes you aren't going to be strong enough to break it yourself. So like he said, we know somebody for you.
Listen.
So if you pray about it and say, I'm not strong enough to remove this person or stop seeing this person. So if you give me the strength and the wisdom to discontinue something that's harmful to me, he'll grant you that strength and that wisdom.
Can we talk about this as well? Let's talk about the I like it factor. Let's talk about there's things that every method that I used to self-medicate myself in seasons, and I liked it. Let's talk about the I like it factor. What happens when your unhealthy habits, you realize that they're not healthy for you and they're causing you to mishandle your seasons, but you like what you do?
Yeah, sugar cookies.
I like drinking. I like it. Like, I like the feeling of being drunk. I like it. I like weed. I like it. I like getting high. I like it. Well, I like sex. I like it. I like this chicken. I like it. I like cussing people out. I like what you do then. What do we do then when you are put in a situation where you actually like the very negative things that you know are hindering your life? Here's how you go to God. This is what I had to do. I had to say, Jesus, I like sex. I like it a lot. I understand that let me tell you something, like, let me be real. People that just like sex make themselves incompatible for relationships, because you learn to make people physically happy without having to do the maintenance and the work of making them emotionally, spiritually, financially. We can make you feel good, but after that, then what? After the climactic moment, then what? So people that are only good at sex can only offer you sex. Come on, somebody. So if you were to ever try, or at that time, if you were to ever try to seriously pursue me, there was nothing to me. When I realized that what I was doing later in life would make me incompatible for anybody. How about you meet somebody that's perfect for you in every way, but somebody done sucked your toe, and now the person for you that's perfect for you in every other way don't suck toes. Now you need your toe sucking. You done married a person that's not a toe sucker. Now you got an itch that they will not scratch. What you gonna do? I had to go to God and I had to say, I like what I do. I realize that this is negative. I realize that your word says I shouldn't be doing it unless I'm married. Lord, let me marry a toe sucker. No, we're just joking. Unless I'm married. And I realize all of that. So you have to help me help myself, because I can't do it because I like it too much. Let me tell you how God did it. He slow walked my dog. Literally one partner at a time. One partner at a time. I would look up and the partner something would happen and it would just be dead for me. Somebody said something that a molester said to me, and it killed it for me. I could never sleep with them again, because for me it killed the whole situation. It was dead for me. And I was never able to go back to that person again. Then I would go to somebody else, and I just didn't like the way they did it that time, and it killed it for me. And literally one person, one partner, God will deliver you. And it don't matter how long it takes for him to break that cycle. I'm telling you, and I was like 16, 18, and had slept with over 200 people. I just stopped counting at that point because I started feeling a little thottish. So I just stopped counting. It's bad when as a man you start feeling like a thought. Like, it's bad when as a man you like, wait a minute, I'm a straight up hoe. Like, I need to move to Vegas and get insurance because they insure hoes in Vegas, and I need health care, because surely at some point, but God did it for me. One person at a time. I had to be accountable. I was at a church that didn't play no games. You smell like sin. You smell like a box of Trojans. How about we get on the altar and get clean? How about we get somewhere and give your issues to God? How about you get somewhere and give your unforgiveness to Jesus? How about you get somewhere and give your malice to Jesus? How about you get somewhere and give your brokenness to Jesus. Because if you really are honest with yourself, all of the things that you're doing in your cycles are doing nothing more than further damaging you. The drinking may make you feel good, but it's breaking your liver. Come on, somebody. Somebody say, ain't nothing like insurance for hoes. It's 1 o'clock. It's time for us to go. I want to tell y'all, it's been so good talking to you on the Encounter Live radio show here at Misfits Radio. We have had a good time with Kiana, DJ Lab, Kiki, DJ Lab. I done gave her government name. Oops, I'm trying to wrap it up so we can go. Kiki, DJ Lab, we've been discussing cycles. I preached just a little bit. If you really would like to hear me preach, come to the Encounter Brunch. We do it every fourth Saturday at 216 Valley Hill Road, Southwest Riverdale, Georgia. It is absolutely free.
10:30 a.m.
10:30 a.m. Come on and get you some good words, some good fellowship, and some good food. And let somebody love on you that know that sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes time. We appreciate you. Download the Live 365. Tune in to misfitsradiogroup.net. We love you, and we are out. Bye.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Jesus still breaks cycles.